Hi everyone, I'm Anveenie and welcome to the channel if you're new here or welcome back. In today's video, I am building the coziest Alpine Village in Wishblossom Ranch. This build in Dalver Biome features a collection of the cutest little cottages we have in game right now. It feels like stepping into the most magical storybook-inspired medieval village, with Snow White's house in the center of the town square, a farm to grow all the Wishblossom Ranch crops, and the winter lodge with the bar and hot chocolate fountain. If this looks interesting to you, keep watching to see how this build came to life. I'm starting the build by placing all the cottages to frame a perimeter of a biome. These cottages, placed in a half circle, will form the town square space in the center. We had quite a few cottages and cute little houses in Premium Shop this past 3 years. For this build, I picked the ones that look similar in style. Don't forget that you can turn off mailboxes on all the houses except the main player's house, because we don't want this ugly gray mailbox sticking out. Also, I found out that the cozy Halloween cottage and the flowery summer cottage can be placed very close to Snow White's house, almost touching the walls, and they all have matching thatched roof. So it really looks like they are supposed to be from the same neighborhood. Another good match was a provincial library house and the greenhouse cottage. They also can be placed very close together to continue the street line. I picked the Dalver biome for this build because of its more round and open shape. No natural obstacles like ponds in the middle, making it perfect for the town square type of layout. I placed the traveling well in the top corner and framed the square with all the cottages. On the far right, we have the Snuggly Duckling Tavern, where right next to it I am building the little farm to the side, where I will have a 2x5 farming plots to plant all the crops from this DLC or any other crops that I might need. It is very useful to have a farming area in every DLC. I'm also using this week's Snowy Ski Chalet house from the Premium Shop and the Baby Pegasus Wishblossom house that came out on the day of Wishblossom Ranch release, and it's supposed to match all the craftable items in this DLC. The chalet is the largest building here, and it sits at the end of the street line. To wrap up the street corner, I will have an outdoor seating area with a fireplace and a market stand right outside it. I'm going to have a little market area in front of the farm, and it will connect with the town square. Right from the start, I was planning to use the flowery Wishblossom garden as the main centerpiece, the one that you get after completing Snow White's quest. But I also had quite a lot of space in the middle that was just for pathing, so I decided to build a couple of these flowery centerpieces. They will add whimsy and more fantasy vibes for this build. Both centerpieces are aligned with the well in one diagonal line across the biome. I also didn't want to place anything tall in the middle to avoid blocking the cottages, because they are gorgeous to look at. I recorded this as a regular speed build, so you're gonna see me changing things a few times, moving things around, and sometimes struggling with the pathing, because the diagonal pathing does not always work as expected. I started laying out the path in more straight lines across the whole biome, and at the end I will be adjusting the path corners and leading small paths to the house entrances. In some areas, I'm making smaller path patches mixed with some stones. Behind the cottages, I added the sword and a stone item. I thought it would be fun, and it fits this medieval village theme. As a reminder, don't forget to exit the decorating menu every 15 to 20 minutes, because I have definitely lost some progress a couple times when I had that bug when your progress is not saved. With the main path laid down, I will be refining corners and forming more defined road shapes. I like to add smaller plants along the paths and the beach grass to better blend these foliage clusters, especially for these kind of organic shapes. I also used some stone fences from Storybookville Crafting to accentuate these organic flowing paths. And they are really good for adding the height difference in these foliage areas. The hardest thing is to actually find items that can fit into certain corners and to arrange all the items together when they all have different footprints. I can't wait for this game to have a free placement when we will be able to overlap items, because as of right now, decorating feels quite limiting. Can we already have a bb.move object on? I didn't use many trees in this build, only a few pine trees behind houses, because I needed to leave the space behind houses to access all the mining nodes. I need all the pixie dust I can get because I'm constantly running out. You need pixie dust to craft everything in this DLC. After adding some lampposts, I like to switch to the sunset time of the day to see all the artificial lights turn on its own, to see how the light affects the build, and if I need to add more or if I use too many, which definitely happens often. There are a lot of glowing items in this game. For the second centerpiece, I'm using two types of fences from Wishblossom Ranch. They are the most beautiful fences we ever had in this game. You can place flowery wood fencing as individual lampposts to have little accent lights, or feathered fence to decorate foliage areas with feathers. In front of the chalet, I have a bar area with a chocolate fountain that you can get by participating in the winter floating festival. It doesn't really match this build, it was just a fun thing to add here. I really like that it's animated. Does it make you want some chocolate? To finish up this build, I will be jumping around quite often. It just happens when looking for items and seeing other things that I want to use and looking for a place to put it. The furniture menu is still broken, by the way, after the last update when you can't see all your inventory. So I can't just scroll to see what I have available. For this build, I was filtering mostly by rustic and outdoor category, but I might have missed some items that would be great to use here, but I don't even remember if I have it because I can't see them. You can also favorite the items to use in the build that can help speed up the process. Also, a lot of these early base game cottagecore rustic items worked very well for this build. They match the items from Wishblossom Ranch pretty good. Here, I wanted to add the rustic clock tower, but without blocking the cottages. So I had to redo this corner to fit it behind the stone fence. And to wrap up the build, I'm adding some smaller decor pieces around, and also placing some drinks and food on tables. If you enjoyed this build, I would really appreciate it if you like and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye everyone!